Okay, so I'm sure everyone has seen this stuff on a use tab before. There's a whole bunch of different colors of it, and you might think, what the hell is that used for? I know it's something with, transmutation or something I don't have yet. But you can also find them for sale on player vendors quite frequently too. And so what this stuff is used for, it has one purpose and only one purpose in this game. You use this stuff to re-roll mods on gear. And you don't need any skill to do it. All you need is the piece of gear that you want to roll, and you need the phlogiston that corresponds with the level of gear needed. So right here in Marna's shop, so let's leave Marna's shop, we'll come back in. So everyone knows where the well's at in Serviul. Everyone knows where Marna's at in Serviul. If I can get back in. Right here, next to this big globe, item workbench. Activate it, interact with it, and all you need to do is just choose which item you want to change the stats on. Just choose which item you want to change the stats on. And when you do that, you hit confirm, drag your item on there, you make sure it's the right item, click confirm, and then it lists all of the mods that are on this amulet. And so we want to change some of the mods to skills that we use. I want this amulet's a little bit underleveled for us, but I want the speed from it for doing Wolf Cave even quicker. So what we're going to do, we're equipped with, or not yet, but now we're going to equip ourselves with our good amulet, because this good amulet has all of the stats that I want on it. I don't want to change any stats. If you hold the Alt button, it shows you a comparison for what you have versus the item you're looking at. So the one on the right is my fully rolled out, this is my end game amulet with all the mods that I want, level 70, and we kick a lot of ass with it. It's great, good stuff. So what I'm doing right now is I'm comparing the mods. I've got that Headcracker Strategic Thrust mod, I've got Max Health, and we're not rolling with Toxin Ball, so we're gonna need to roll out Toxin Ball. We're gonna need to roll out Toxin Ball, Smash, and Pin. So what I always do is I roll off the mods, or attempt to roll off the mods that aren't for any skills that I'm equipped with. So for instance, I don't want that Smash double hit and heed the stick does plus 11 damage. That's not something I'm going to use. However, I have Smash, that's the basic attack, on my loadout for that build. So I'm not going to roll that mod off first. I'll roll it off last probably, because that's a skill I actually use. So even if this doesn't get perfect, which it probably won't, I'll be very, very lucky if it does, we can still use this amulet. It just won't be at its full potential. So at this point, what we want to do is re-roll it. And so let's pick a mod that we want to roll off. There's a website that is, what is it? Is it Gorgon Explorer or the Gorgon's Eye? I gotta look it up now. I think it's the Gorgon's Eye. Gorgon Explorer, thank you, none such thing. So Gorgon Explorer, explorer.com, I believe. And so GorgonExplorer.com, it's a little tricky to use, but if you play around with it, you want to go to the mods section on the website, and you can choose which skill you want to look at and then which piece of gear you want to look at on there. So to just blindly roll your gear without a plan is a waste of phlogiston. A phlogiston's worth a lot of money. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get. However, we got our own from Wolf Cave, and we also found this amulet in Wolf Cave. So that's a whole nother process. But once again, you don't need to have any transmutation. You don't need to have any augmentation. All you need is the item you want and the phlogiston for it. So I already mathed it out. I needed 240 because I actually rolled one mod on this, and I didn't get what I wanted, which is fine. So we're going to try and roll out for other mods on this. So we're going to start with Pin. So right here, you can see that the bottom one is Pin. So we're going to click that to change this mod. And it tells you right here, replacing this takes 35 decent flog, and the durability is minus 25%. So we're at 75% durability, and we want to change that skill. So we're going to click it, and we got another stupid pin thing. So hit all done. There's kind of a bug with this, and I'll show you what I mean. If you click it and say let's change toxin ball, because we're not using toxin ball in our loadout. If we click it, it's going to ask for 35 decent phlogiston, and we're going to be down to 25% on our amulet, 25% durability. So we're going to click it. So rot skin deals 14% armor and boosts our nice attack. I actually think that might be... No, we're not using rot skin, so that's another one. So if I hit try again, this is where you got to be really careful. There's a bug here. If you click try again, you got to read carefully because it's not the same mod. Because that mod that we just rolled got moved to the bottom of the list, so to speak. It's gonna try and switch out our staff skill for pin again. So what I always like to do is every single time you roll a mod, just basically exit out of the whole damn thing, load it back up, and then select which mod you want to roll. I've reported this probably every single major update, and I'm surprised that this has not been fixed, but you can end up rolling off a mod that you just got if you don't exit out and start over again. And I know this adds a lot of confusion if this is your first time seeing it, this is your first time looking into this, but I promise this is an easy piece. So we're going to click this rot skin one again. We're just going to try and roll rot skin off. Once again, 35 flog, 25 durability. Fill with bile increases max health. That's a great mod for spider, but however, we don't have fill with bile either. So now it's really small to see, but my amulet of rugged traveler that we're trying to roll is got 0 durability. Now, what does that mean? You can still equip it, you still get all of the mods from it, but you cannot do any more transmutation with it. It's got 0 durability. You can have someone else repair it for you, but that requires a skill to use. And so what I always do is I hit distill with it when you right click, and then I scroll down to repair, and we want repair item level 31 to 60 because this is a level 51. It requires 8 medium prisms, which once again you can purchase those off of vendors. You've probably also found a bunch of prisms in your travels from killing stuff, small and medium prisms. So anyone that you just ask to repair it, they might charge you for prisms, but if you give them the prisms, I guarantee you anyone in town would be happy to repair something for you for free. So we drag our amulet over here, and we click repair. And one of the most important things is even if your amulet's got like perfect skills, but you've got one thing left, and you ran out of flog for it, don't repair it before it's at 0%. And the other thing is you want to get that repair done as quick as possible. And the reason is because we have to wait a full week, 1 full week to repair it again. So the first time you try and roll a piece of gear, you really get 8 rolls on it as long as you have the flog to do it and the prisms to repair it. You can re-roll 8 attempts at it. And I've had pieces of gear take me, no joke, like 6 weeks to get all of the pieces, and that's a lot of flog. Like that's a lot of basically thrown away money. But it's the only way to do it. Once again, you don't have to have any skill in transmutation, augmentation. You don't even have to know how to repair it, because now that it's repaired, great. We're gonna try it again, and we're gonna load up our amulet. You can see it doesn't say its durability at all on it. It doesn't say, and that means it's at 100% durability. So we're gonna drag this onto our piece. We're gonna try and roll again. So we're gonna try and roll this fill with bile one off to a mod that we're using. And it's going to ask us again, minus 25% durability, costs 35 decent flog. Click it. Rot skin deals more armor. So this happens a lot. We're just kind of tossing back and forth 2 mods that we don't want. So I'm going to click all done. I'm going to drag it back onto the screen. And we're going to try and get this rot skin into something that we actually want. Toxin ball damage plus 40%. So we've seen, I think, every single mod except for the ones that we're looking for. And there's 2 other mods that this could turn into that we would want. We're looking for a mod for Bramble Skin, and we're looking for a mod for Cosmic Strike, and we have not seen either of those. So we're trying to roll this Toxin Ball again. Replace it, Rot Skin again. So Try it again. Hopefully we can get we've got one last try here. Let's try and hopefully we can get this one mod that we want. One of two, and we've seen everything like 3 times now. Okay, so Rot Skin, replace it with a Druid skill. Perfect. So here we go. We got Cosmic Strike deals plus 11 damage and boosts your major healing plus 50 for 10 seconds. So, this amulet that we started with, it's still compared to the one that we have that's like the high level amulet. Now instead of only having 2 of the mods that we want for our dream amulet here, we've got 3. We have the Druid's max health, we have Cosmic Strike, and we've got Head Cracker. So we're still missing a couple. And then there's another piece, we can add one onto it. And once we get the mod that we want, we can add it onto it, and you don't need any skill to do that. You can technically get a perfect build without having the transmutation skill. You don't necessarily need it. It's probably going to cost you a little bit more, and you're going to have to hound someone in your guild or ask me sometime and I can help you with it. But I cannot think with this damn flute going off. That's like the worst. It is so loud. It's like compared to the other instruments. Let me toss on my my harp just for comparison. Oh, I'm in combat. My Ursula is somewhere. There she goes. There she goes. Okay, so we'll wait till we're out of combat. And we'll finish up this lesson. So Ursula broke up the band or something, but so listen to that flute. What that goddamn flute is. Listen to that thing. And we'll play a harp sound. It's at least 3 times the volume, like minimum, at least 3 times the volume. So we're just gonna do this to the music and have a good day with it. Perfect. Okay. So let's go back to this amulet that we're talking about. So you might ask, how do you put an extra mod on it? Because if you look, these are both, you cannot craft jewelry at this time. You cannot craft it as a player. Player crafted items can do what's called max enchanted, which gives it 1 more mod slot. So let's take a look at real quick. I've only got 1 max enchanted piece of gear on me right now, and it is a staff. So this staff right here has, the one on the left is my player made staff, and it's got, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mods on it. 7 mods. So a normal yellow only has 5. A max enchanted has 6. Well, how does it have 7? Because you can add an extra mod to it. You can add an extra mod to any piece of gear. You can add an extra mod to a piece of white gear. It turns it green. So for this Amulet of Rugged Traveler, what we'll do is we'll add, it looks like we have to add bramble skin to it. So we'll add bramble skin once we find it. And since it's there, we'll probably try and find a level 70 version of bramble skin. And I can show you guys how that part works out too. The next time we're in Gaslit Keep and we find ourselves a level 70 amulet with that mod on it, I'll show you the process on how that's done. And once again, you don't necessarily have to do it yourself. As long as you get the piece of gear, and then you get the, all you need is the piece of gear and a gem, whatever gem is. Let me show you. So like when you ever see on these skills, on the gems where it says primary skill and secondary skill, you need to find the skill for whatever your equipment is going to want to do. So I got to find the one for staff, which I think is blue spinels. I think is the staff one. But we want a druid one, which druid is, I think, topaz. And I've got a bunch of those somewhere in storage. So that's kind of the quick tutorial. And I mean, it doesn't get easier than that. I know it's kind of long-winded, but that's really the process on how to roll gear. You don't have to have transmutation, because you can just buy phlogiston. You can buy it off of a use tab from an NPC, or you can go to the player market and find out who's buying it. Just make triple sure, ask someone, ask me in chat or anything, if it's the right level. So let's check Thaner right here. He usually has like lower levels of phlogiston on him, but he doesn't have any right now, it doesn't look like. And that's okay. But he sometimes has it because he pays full price for it. And we can come down here and just take a look in the player market real quick and see who's selling flog. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. And I mean, for reference, a piece of yellow gear gets you anywhere between, I think, 15 to 20 phlogiston, and it costs a minimum of 35 to roll off gear, unless it's a generic mod. Generic mods only take 20, and they also only take, I think, 20... I think the generic mods only take 10% off of the... So if you want to roll a piece of generic gear, it is pretty good odds you're going to find the mod you want. One more thing real quick about the gear. The second you roll this gear, the second you grab your phlogiston, you take it to the transmutation table, and you roll something off. The second you do that, it is bound to your account. So it says attuned to Professor Cat. It's not bound to this character, though. I can put it in my shared bank, and anyone on my account can equip it. But you cannot sell it anymore to an NPC, and no one else can equip that piece of gear. So the second you roll it, no one else can equip it. And I believe the second you attune a mod to it, the second you apply an augment to it, it's also bound to you. However, they recently did this thing where Joa and a whole bunch of other NPCs in the game, they can apply a freaking augment for you. So you don't even need to have the skill anymore. It's not even required. And that's the one that's a pain in the ass to level up. Transmutations, it's a pain in the ass, but it's not as bad because well, you'd have to get prisms. It's a long process for another video. We'll go over that at another time and get a little bit more in depth to it. But you certainly don't need anything, no skills at all, if you want to start rolling your gear. All you need is gear worth rolling, which I would say yellows. If you've got a yellow and you know that there's, hey, you check the Gorgon Explorer and you're like, hey, there's a mod for Flame Strike that I'm not using. I would love to have, this staff's got all the psychology skills I want on it, but I want this Flame Strike mod. It's possible to roll that, and it could be done for pretty cheap. You might get lucky and get it your first try. When you're rolling like an entire set of gear, you need thousands of flog, like literally thousands. That's why I've got this stack right here, just waiting for the next time I want to roll something. I've got 1,000 flog, and it's not even enough to roll a full set of gear, not even close. But you could roll an entire perfect piece of gear your first try. It could take you 3 flog, and boom, you've got the most perfect amulet you've ever looked at. And then it could take you, like I said, 6 weeks to get your ring exactly where you want it to go. It's really based off of luck, and then of course the cooldown of 1 week time to get it started. I've been neglecting chat while I was kind of on my monologue here, so I'm gonna go back and read. Yeah, so None Such Being says he uses NIF's Project Gorgon JSON parse, which is a separate app. And to be quite candid with you guys, I use that too. I prefer that over Gorgon Explorer. You can save your loadouts. That's how I built my spider build. That's how I built this Staff Druid build way back in the day. Actually, that's not true. I think Staff Druid, I might have done this one before that was released to the public. But yeah, check the player forums for the JSON parse version of rolling your mods. I like it because you can save loadouts, and I don't have it installed on this computer. It's on my other laptop. So otherwise I would show you guys that program now. But the next time we're talking about creating a build, I'll show you guys how that works, and you can kind of go into this with an idea of what you want your build to be. And it might sound like a lot of work, and it certainly is. Like, it's not the only time, but you have to put the game aside, spend at least an hour and a half looking at all of the different mods, asking yourself truly, what skills do I want to use on this? And then factoring out, okay, well, what's the best, if you want to get really into it, what's the best min-max for this? Okay, I might want these skills, but, 5 of these skills all need to be on the chest piece, and obviously you're limited to 7 mods on a crafted chest piece. Otherwise, you're limited to 6 mods on a piece of yellow gear that you find.